Hi everybody, it's Adele Levine, and today we're going to do quite a big topic that I've decided is going to probably be doing two parts. So this is part one, and the topic is what happens to us after we die. And in order to really cover this, because out of all of the topics that I've covered so far, I would say that they all kind of fall under this big umbrella that people really want to know, which is what happens to us after we pass. And I'm going to get started, and in order to answer that question, I want to start with something else, which is what happens to us when we're being born. Because to understand what happens to us when we pass, we need to understand what happens to us when we are born. Okay, so I have my coffee, I have Sally here. I love this movie, Night Before Christmas, of course. And and Sally, come on. I think she's like the seer, the messenger of the story, right? She kind of plays a really important part. That's why I love her. And so getting back to what happens to us when we're born. So a lot of times in readings, people want to know, this is usually an intuitive reading, but it's kind of on a weird category of intuitive / mediumship in a way, about if they want to have a baby, and people want to know if I see the spirit of the baby, and I can see the spirit of the baby, and I kind of see it like, I call the baby spirits kind of like living almost like in a balcony. And if the spirit of the baby is sitting in the lap of the person or really near the person, then I let the person know, like, look, you may get pregnant like really quick. And I've had people go like, wah, 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 like, oh, okay, cool, sure, And I tell people this because you can control it. Like I'll say, listen, if you don't want this to happen and you're like, this isn't the right time, then, take precautions, wrap things up, take the cautionaries that you need to like make sure this isn't, you're kind of sending the message that, sorry, hairs in my face, you're sending the message to that realm that you're not ready for this, and they can feel your energy and hear your thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So there is a connection already there. However, I've had people where I've seen it, like I said, sitting on a lap and very close to the person, and they've ignored it and they've come back many times pregnant, or their partner's pregnant. So I can see the spirit of the baby, and I can see what they look like, and I can see their personality, and they'll tell me things like, they're not ready, or they really are trying, but there's fear in them, and different things. And so what I've come to understand, this is what I've come to understand, and everybody can have a different belief system, of course, but what I've come to understand is that we choose our parents. We don't know the full ride. So in other words, you can choose the parents, and you may see what that parent needs to learn, because spirits of babies are here to teach us things about ourselves, and also to remind us of home, to remind us where we all come from, and to remind us of the light that we tend to forget, the love and the connections that we tend to forget. And the spirit of this baby is coming into this earth to say, listen, I'm coming into this physical body, this avatar, to help you with your journey. And if you choose to learn from me, because we're supposed to learn from children, and children learn from us, and as parents, we're supposed to be the guides to these spirits of this earth. So we're basically saying, welcome to earth, like in the movie Avatar, where they like go into another realm in a different body. So it's like, welcome to this earth, the parents are saying, and we're going to show you how to operate this body and how to be on this planet. No, you can't fly anymore. No, this. Yes, it used to be like you can just telepathically have thoughts. So like, yes, a lot of the superhero films that we see where all these people have these superpowers, I believe it comes from a place of awareness of a time and a place where we all were actually like this in other dimensions and things like this. So the spirit comes into the body, is born, and actually the birth is like the portal. It doesn't have to be a natural birth to be a portal. The body is the portal, and so it comes through the body, through the portal. And if you notice, like as soon, and from what I have seen, the spirit of a baby is in between the worlds, right? It's in the body, it's kind of out of the body, it's kind of in the body, it's kind of out of the body, it's kind of in the body, it's kind of out of the body, and through birth it slams into the body and solidifies, and then it is born through this portal, and it's like, what? So it's a much more traumatic event, not in a painful way like people think, or we tend to put a lot on mothers and birth in the sense of, all the right elements and it's going to mess them up. No, it's the actually coming into this world is a little crazy because you're in a physical body. So so it's just this awareness. It's like snap, the spirit kind of comes in. Now, baby spirits are kind of in between and all that. So I'm going to, that's a whole nother subject. Some people may completely disagree with what I'm saying, and that's totally fine, and I understand that. But this is just what I believe, and this is what I've come to understand from that realm. It's important to understand this part because it's to understand how we are walking around this earth. Meaning that now that we are born and we're in this physical body, now we're like walking around this earth, looking and learning and growing on how to be physical beings. Now, a lot of people, when they ask, what happens when they pass, what comes with this is, why are we even here, right? And what I've come to understand is this world is this is what I've come to understand thus far. This world is a very limited world. The physical realm, the body, you have to go to the store to get food, you have to get gas, you have to work a job. You're very limited. Obviously, like again, the superhero movies, you would love to do this and be like, teleport somewhere or just do this and you can have what you want in your hand and all that kind of stuff. But we have to physically do a lot, and so we are very bound to the physical plane. And because we're very bound to the physical plane, this is what we've come here to learn. How can we go through all of this physical limitation, pain, suffering, and all the things that we go through and still evolve and still love and still try to believe in the idea of connection. And the thing is in the other realm, there is a collective whole. I did a reading recently where the spirit actually, who I was talking to, said it perfectly. It's like a choir there. Everyone has their different note and their different energy, but they're singing in a unison, and they all understand each other through that unison, that choir. In this realm, no, we don't do that. We're like, you're over there and you sing tenor, I'm over here and I'm better than you because I sing bass, and you're over here because I sing soprano and I'm definitely better than you. We have a lot of separatism here, and that's what actually is one of our biggest hurdles, is ego and separatism. Okay, all of this is to say, when we pass, you shoot out of your body, not like a shooting like people think, like you just shoot out, like, it's like walking out of one door into another door. This is how it's always described to me, and I've actually seen that realm. And it is like that. It's like walking out of one door into another door, except for that door is still connecting to this place. So kind of imagine it like an onion. Here's the onion, and the outer layer is where the spiritual realm is. Okay? Onion, layer, outer layer. So we're one layer, and that layer is around us, because I always see all these energies as a sphere. And so not like, excuse me, did you hear me burp? If you did, I apologize. Not like a linear line like people tend to look at it. Okay. Yes, I'm human. Of course, I didn't think you thought any otherwise. Anyway, moving on. So, so here's the layer, right? Here's the onion layer, and that sphere is there. So it's like walking out of one door to the other. There is no major to do like people want to make it. Kind of, when we are going to step into the idea of the spirit realm, please just remove all thoughts of this world out of your head. We tend to compare it. We tend to believe, is the spirit world have to come visit us? I used to say that term until, and like I said before, I've said before that my sight and my understanding grows and grows and changes and evolves over the years. And it's been 16 years, and I can say that professionally doing what I do my whole life and seeing things. But as I've come to professionally hone and dedicate myself to this practice of what is a natural born gift, I guess you want to say, well, I mean, it is. But to hone it, what I've come to understand is that it's not a visitation, it's a connection. So they don't have to come to your house, they don't have to come visit you. When you aren't hearing from that realm, it is mostly, and I've covered this in this video about communication with spirits and how to get signs and understand you're getting signs in, on my YouTube page. So just keep that in mind, okay? So if you keep that in mind, you understand that that realm is stepping from one door into the next, okay? So you are seeing yourself in an energy form. You are able to manipulate this energy form into any form you want. You can look younger. Most spirits do. If you've ever had dreams, a lot of times people talk about, oh, I saw my mother, I saw my grandmother, and they looked younger. I knew it was them, but they were younger. Yes, because if you could look younger, wouldn't you? If you could go to your most prime age, for all those that are already young, if you could go like, this was the time I felt like I looked banging, you would go to that age, or you would go to that time in your life. And that's what they tend to do too. However, and there's a really great movie called What Dreams May Come, ironically starring Robin Williams. It's actually one of the few movies that I felt like shows a lot, not all of it, not the hell thing and all that stuff, but about the way it is there. And there's a one scene, and I don't want to spoil it, but just watch it and you'll see when he gets his guides guiding him around that world. You'll understand. What I want to say is about that is that spirits can come in any form they want, and a lot of times they'll come in a form that they think will get you to listen. So let's say you're like, oh, I had this dream of this this amazing wizard, or I had this dream of this amazing fairy-like being, or I had a dream of this like badass biker or something, and they told me this. Why would I have this biker talking to me? If they feel like this is the way you're going to listen, this is how they'll form. So when you go into that realm, you are completely of energy. The other thing that happens as soon as you go into that realm is you need to go through your life, your whole life. Now, it is not a review like watching it on an iPad. It is you feeling what you've done, how you've affected people, how they felt, not your interpretation, but you're actually each person. That is truly what empathic means. True empathic means that you are that person. Everybody has empathy. Most people should have empathy, but truly being an empathic person is jumping into that skin and seeing and feeling from that person. When you're in that realm and you go through your life, you are being all of the people that you've affected, and you're feeling everything you've done to them. It takes a while. Time goes fast. There is no time. Time is speed up. There is like what you think is like, oh, they only been past a day, and that's why I don't understand when people are like, oh, it's 3 days, 4 days. I'm like, there are no days in that realm. There's no time. So when people are like, oh, can you talk to someone, as soon as they pass? Yes. I've seen people as they're passing. I've seen people right after they pass. There's no time in that realm. Time is non-existent. Time is really non-existent here too, but we get the veil lifted, which I'm going to get to in a second, and the veil is a state of consciousness in that realm where you finally go, okay, I'm able to see everything kind of more at once. Now, also, when you pass, you're not all-knowing. You don't know everything. You're not an all-knowing person. You just have the veil lifted. So I'm going to show you what the veil looks like. This is the veil, okay? This is how it looks. You can see me, and you can see a lot of things about this picture. And you may even think as you did this that, oh wow, I really see even better, and I see even better. And then even when you're kind of going like this, you're seeing better. But you're not seeing the whole picture. So when the veil is lifted from your eyes, you're able to see. What I mean by that is that you're seeing without limitation. This is just a limited view. Now, do I know everything about this picture? Even with this veil gone, you don't see everything in my sphere, right? You don't see everything in where I'm sitting. You see my altar, you see, I hope you see my awesome signs of rock. And if you're looking for a sign, this is it. That's what it's supposed to say, but it's backwards. And of course, the best movie ever made, one of the best movies ever made, The Breakfast Club. You can see this, but you don't see everything where I am at, right? And that's kind of like how it is when someone passes, that things are lifted and they're able to see, right? They're finally like, oh my gosh, it's been like, I thought I've been seeing things, but now I'm able to fully see. And you're going, oh my gosh, I understand now that there's other realms and this and that, and I get now that I can see that there is no time, and the people who I've left behind there are still walking around like this, and some are walking around like that even, right? Okay, so that is why the spirit world is anxious to help. They don't know everything. Like I said, they can't see the full picture. And the higher beings, the more evolved beings, the ones that have been there for a long time, meaning the higher beings, the master teachers, all that, they can understand and see your path and why you're going through what you're going through. Your family members and loved ones and people you're close to can understand and help guide you, but they may not understand all the reasons why and things like that. And that is why they don't really need your help. When they want to talk to you about, oh my gosh, I realize that I've caused all this pain, or I did this, or I did that. Yes, they are doing it for them because they can grow. And in that world, what's more important for you to know is, yes, you still grow and you still evolve. Absolutely. You grow and evolve. You continue to grow and evolve. But it is a choice. Now, I've been asked, someone on my Instagram asked me, how do we know the difference between bad spirits and good spirits? Well, first of all, you should be talking to people you know. It's very important to make sure you're talking to people that you can confirm. Confirmations, validations are key, because we are having a limited view of communicating with that realm. Even me, even as much as I can see and hear and all of that stuff, which is quite a bit. It's not the same. Oh, sorry about that. It's not the same as when you're completely in that realm. Okay. So if you are not used to talking to that realm, I wouldn't suggest just talking to spirits willy-nilly if you can't confirm, because there's things called trickster spirits, and trickster spirits aren't evil, horrible, terrible. They're tricksters. So they kind of go, oh, you think you're talking to grandma? Sure, I want to talk to you. You're not going to talk to me, just some strange guy you don't know, so I'll pretend I'm your grandmother. It's really, really that simple. Sorry, cats again. It's really that simple. It's not as complicated as people want to make it. It's really, really that simple. Where it's like the trickster spirit's like, listen, no one's really talking to me. You want to talk to this person. So, if I pretend I'm this person, plus maybe I'll have a little fun with you, which they like to do. So if you're going to talk to that realm, you want to make sure you can get confirmations. You want to make sure it's something that you can confirm it's actually them. You don't want to just talk to anything willy-nilly. Evil is very rare, and I'll do a video on demons and things, but it's super rare. I've said this over and over. So you mostly just want to make sure you're not talking to anything that's tricking you. So someone has asked me that. If you're going to communicate to that realm and to your family, feel free to, but you don't need to be in the same house. You don't need to be in the same anything. What is it like in that realm? What are people doing? This is what people ask. And like I said, this video's, I'm looking at the time, and this video is going to be a little longer than normal, and I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2. And I'm definitely want to hear all your questions and comments and everything. Feel free to put them below. Um, and or on my Instagram, Adele Levine. But what it's like for people is you don't here we're very caught up in what we're going to do, right? And the reason why we're caught up in what we're going to do is because we are coming here for a calling. We're coming here to be as much as part of that choir as that we are possibly knowing how to be. And in that choir, we're trying to do our part as much as we can. A lot of times we fall asleep and we forget what that part is. In that realm, you are learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're also helping this realm and the other realms and other dimensions, but you're not like coming here and being distracted. So what it's like is just kind of imagine that that world is like the internet. The internet is a whole world within this world, right? It's a world within this world, right? I would say that if you look at the internet, when you log on and you're looking, you're communicating and you're seeing and you're exploring a world within this world while you're sitting on your couch. So what it's like for them is they can explore and evolve and learn all in the world that they're in and grow and all of that stuff and connect while they can interact in our world, which is like the internet for them times a million. The other thing is there's no more not needing to feel and connect. However, are there spirits that choose to not grow? Yes, absolutely. Is there a heaven and a hell? Not from what I've seen. Heaven is what you are going to create. Because you can create your imagery, anything you want, you can also create your own world. So let's say I've done readings where the spirit has shown me, oh, I've recreated the house I grew up in by thought. So look at artists. Artists get an inspiration of something they see, and then they put it on a painting, or they write about it, or they photograph it, whatever art form they're using. They are getting something from the collective consciousness and bringing it into a physical form. In that world, you just don't need to bring it to a physical form. It comes from the collective consciousness, from your own makeup, and kind of digitally appears times a million. So they can create the world they want to create. So they can do that. They can explore other realms, and they can pretty much go, wow, when I was born, before I was born, I was in this place, and I thought I really understood stuff. But then when I went into that physical body, and I had to be limited and go through pain and suffering and things that were not of this world, it changed me. It changed me to the core. And now that I'm back in this place, I need to wake back up and remember things and remember who I am and where I come from. But now I have it with this whole other different perspective, a whole different life-changing understanding. I mean, I can't even express how different, obviously, it's going to be. So I will do a video on reincarnation because I don't believe it in reincarnation in the traditional form. So I know I'm going to get those questions like, what about when people reincarnate? I will do a video on that. Probably in this part 2 video, I'll talk about it, and so you can kind of get my understanding as to why I don't believe in it, and that I completely welcome anybody who does. I have most people I know, obviously in the world more sparkles, do. I just don't. So I'm just going to beat you to the punch if you're asking that question. And so that is what happens. Now, I will say people who do things, and you're going to ask 2 things. People who do things that hurt people and are horrible to people. And we're like, okay, these people were horrible. You're telling me they're just skipping off in the lily fields? No. They have to choose to feel all of the pain and all of the horrific things they did to people. They have to feel it. They have to go through it. They have to face it. And some of them may choose not to. If they choose not to, they live in their own closed off world. That is the absence of connection and the absence of growth and evolvement and light meaning awareness and higher consciousness of understanding. They just kind of stay. And to me, that is hell. So I don't want people to feel like someone can do all what they can do and then boom, Now, the compassion is there to go, listen, we're going to let you learn and grow from what you've done if you choose to. But sometimes people don't choose to. And yes, I've seen that a few times, very rare, extremely rare. But I have had people where I've said, we're going to leave this person because they're choosing not to, and so I'm not allowing that energy around you. Absolutely. So I will do part 2. We'll discuss about suicide and things like this. I will talk about that, and I just want you to know right off the bat that I'm not going to say any punishment. There is no punishment in that realm, but I'll get into more details about it. I also don't want people to feel like if things just come to an end, that you don't face things. I will leave you with this about suicide. Most of the time, the biggest thing I hear over and over and over, even the very first one I did, is how surprised they are that they have to see and face everything, the people they've caused pain, the people they've hurt. I do hear that. I just realized that the dishwasher's on, so sorry that was on this whole time. Hope that wasn't distracting. I kind of tuned it out. I apologize if that was annoying in the background. Now I'm concerned. But yeah, so that's what I will leave you with when it comes to suicide. That people aren't punished. However, it's not, believe it or not, people are much more surprised that they have to face and feel everything they caused to other people. And they weren't expecting that. And they still have to learn and go through the things that they didn't learn and go through here. So you don't escape anything. That's what I'm trying to say. But I will get into more details. I hope that gave you some view. I'll do a part 2. Feel free to post your questions of what you would like me to cover. Next time I'll make sure the dishwasher's not on. But I don't like to have errors too much, so this is life. This is part of what we're supposed to be doing, is being in both worlds at the same time. The human side of you and the spiritual side of you. We can't this is life, right? This is what we're here to experience. If you could, I could say, maybe from a different perspective, whenever you're wondering about life in the other realm, or you're even worried about your own mortality, take a look around and just realize that we're all here having an experience. We're definitely having an experience. We camped up, we signed up for this experience of growth and evolvement, even knowing that it would be hard to hold on to our light and hold on to our higher consciousness and hold on to our awareness of where we came from and to remember home. So maybe look at it a little differently instead of letting it get so caught up in the mundane world. Question everything, follow no one. There is no one you need to follow. All that I'm trying to do, and it should be from other spiritual people, seers, guides, teachers, whatnot, is just to help guide you and to help unlock the things that are already inside you, to remind you of who you are, to remind you of home. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.